Hey everybody, how's everyone doing after the Thanksgiving weekend coming up for air, I'm sure, like I have today. So happy Monday, Carrie Conley coming to you live as I always do, hopefully almost always do this time on Mondays. So just checking in, you guys, and I'm gonna be super really tough love sharing some bold stuff with you guys today because this is weighing heavy on my heart right now, and it's just something I really want to share with all of you. And I hope that it gives you something to really think about right here and now. Hey Leela, how are ya? So, here's what's happening is we're right smack in now the holiday season. And I don't know if you guys have been catching my last few posts, but I kind of have a whole different perspective on this whole holiday season thing. And I don't want to sound like the Grinch or anything, you guys. I love it just as much as everybody else. Mostly I love it because of the family time. And probably my perspective is a lot different than most of you because so much of my life has changed over the past 4 or 5 years, which, trickles down into the holiday season. It looks very different for me now than it used to be. And so I have a whole different perspective on it that I want to share with you guys. And so when I tell you that, I wasn't happy when people were putting up their Christmas trees before Halloween, I don't love it when the retailers start putting up all their stuff, in September. I don't love it when Christmas music is starting to play way before Thanksgiving. You guys, I grew up where it was traditional seasons. And as a matter of fact, my daughter and her husband were here over Thanksgiving, and I would not let her touch any of my holiday decorations, which I don't put a whole lot up anymore. Until, this is kind of funny. How many of you guys can agree with me on this if you grew up with this? Until Santa comes at the end of the Macy's Day Parade on TV, that is when the holiday season can start. Traditionally, that's how it's always been. So I told her, until I see Santa come down the Macy's Day Parade and ends it all and officially opens up the holiday season, that's when we can start thinking about it. So I want to share with you guys how I see 98% of the world operating right now, which is breaking my heart. And what I hope you guys will take into consideration of being the 2%. And I made a little diagram for you guys, and I know you may not be able to see it very clearly because it's got a little bit of a shine, but you can see what I've started with here, okay? So get this picture in your mind, all right? This is order of priority of what's happening right now with 98% of the world. So I know you guys can't read it, so I'll kind of read it off to you. And hey Sherry, how are ya? Okay, so the biggest portion of what's happening in people's lives right now is what I call holiday stuff. And I mean stuff. Stuff like shopping. The past 4 days, what's it been? Thanksgiving, but it's also been Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and it's been all about that. And it's been all about people shopping and buying gifts and spending money that they don't need to be spending, quite frankly, you guys. And it really breaks my heart because it's not about that. So it's the shopping, and next behind it is all the parties. Hey Terry, looking forward to seeing you later this week. Putting all the parties on the calendar. We have a thing in our world that if we get invited, we can't say no. So we load up our calendar with a bunch of stuff we're going to be running to, and, getting gifts and pushing out Christmas cards. And I haven't done Christmas cards, you guys, and I don't even know how long. And then it's all about the food and planning all the meals and all of that, which goes into overindulging. So at the top of the priority now has become all the holiday stuff. And right underneath that comes surviving all the craziness. So another least favorite thing of mine is how if you have kids in your life, how their lives become overruled with all the stuff the school puts out for them and all their sporting events, their parties, all the things they have to do, which involves you. And that's just one part of the surviving overload I'm talking about. And then the household stuff, and again, the shopping stuff. And right behind that becomes just getting by in your business. How many of you guys are already at this point, and I've said this several times over the past third and fourth quarter, have already given up on all your goals that you set at the beginning of the year, and right now you're just doing enough to do enough. You're getting by thinking it's going to be okay, and on January 1st, I'll start working on that goal again and I'll get to it. So we're getting by, right? So the last two things on the grid that are low priority now are self-care and everything that comes with that, exercising, eating healthy, having quiet time, which as you guys, if you followed along with me, know that my daily quiet time is high priority for me. It's the first thing in every day. All of that wiped off the calendar, right? And then the last thing is that nobody right now is sitting down to breathe and start thinking about their vision and their goals for 2019. And I know this is my thing, you guys, and you know I say this all the time. It is not the time to be pushing it off the calendar and thinking after January or on New Year's Eve day, I will sit down and write all those things out. You guys, if you have already pushed that off and you think it's gonna hold and you're push the pause button on it, you might as well know that you're going to start the year the way you end the year. How you end this year, you guys, is how you start next year. And if you've already decided, I'm gonna worry about that later and I'll get to it, I'm gonna promise you something, you're probably not gonna hit those goals that you think you're gonna hit in January, just like maybe you didn't hit them this year, because it's a repeated pattern. Hey, how are you, Karen? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in from Colorado Springs. Love it, love it. I hear it's kind of cold there right now. So here's my challenge for you guys, all right? So that's 98% of the world. And I don't know about you guys, but I've never wanted to be average. I've never wanted to be mediocre. I've never wanted to be just getting by. I want to be a part of the 2%. How many of you guys right now want to make a commitment, if you haven't already in your life, that you want to flip things around and live a lot more intentionally and a lot more proactively and be living in the 2%ers of the world? Okay, drop a 1 if that's you right now, because this is what I'm going to challenge you guys to do. This is the 2% grid in order of priority of what people who live in the 2% world do right now, not January 1st. Right now, they're already writing their vision and goals on paper for the next year. They are sitting down, creating quiet space. They are aligning themselves with some other people who are doing the same things like I've been doing the past couple weeks. Thanks, Karen. And they are writing out what it is that they intend to do for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, and so on. And here's why that's so important, you guys, because when you start the year with that game plan already locked and loaded, you aren't spending January catching up with yourself and putting it down on paper, thinking that you can just flip the switch and it's all just going to happen. Whatever you do today, you guys, has a 90-day reflection. So if you do this today, it will rock your next 90 days. If you decide to push it off for another day, your next 90 days is going to be pretty slow. Thanks for dropping all the ones, you guys. I love all the people who want to be in the 2% with me. Love it. All right, so vision and goals, and I'm going to invite you to something here in a minute, is number 1. If you aren't putting that on your calendar to work on that, that's got to go to the top instead of the bottom. Right behind vision and goals should be your self-care. Block it on your calendar, you guys, and don't give up on it. Don't use the holidays as an excuse. I wrote out a Sunday reflection yesterday, you guys, and what's breaking my heart about the holidays, along with everything else, is that people use the holidays as an excuse to overeat, to stress out, to put way too much on their credit card, to give up on everything and just say it's too busy right now and I'll deal with it later. And that really breaks my heart, because the last time I remembered, Christmas had a purpose, and it wasn't about shopping and food and parties and all of that. It's about quiet time and connecting with your God, and it's about really having a heart full of gratitude, isn't it? I mean, think about it, you guys. When did that become such a low priority? So self-care is important, you guys, because you have to build in the time. You have to build in the time to stay quiet, stay breathing, stay on your priorities. Don't give up on them. Hi, Renoa. How are you? So self-care is number 2. All right. Third thing is all the wrapping up of the loose ends of the year. And what I mean by that is not just getting by. I mean, you set some goals, you guys, at the beginning of the year, and this year is not over yet. My year is not over yet. I've been working all day on my end of year goals, knowing exactly where I intend to finish this year before Christmas Day comes. And because I have that mapped out, and my assistant knows it with me, and so do the people that I align myself with, once that is done, I am going to take the rest of the year off and breathe and get ready for the plan that I already have on paper for 2019, all right? So don't just get by to get by, you guys. That's wishy-washy living, that's wishy-washy thinking, and it trickles into every aspect of your life, okay? And at the bottom, just flipping it around, details of all the little things that we got going on right now, you guys, seriously, if you can't delegate some of this stuff, just ditch it, right? Because I'm going to tell you, most of the stuff we are stressing out about right now doesn't need to happen. Like me telling you a minute ago that Christmas cards don't happen for me anymore. My daughter used to do them for me. Actually, my husband did them for several years because I just got tired of them, and he loved them. And then after him, I think became my daughter. And so the past few years, they just haven't been that important to me. All right? It's been one of those little details that I used to stress over, and I just don't need to. And the last thing on the list, you guys, is all the things that were up at the top of the list that I showed you a minute ago. The shopping, adding all the parties onto your calendar, running around with your hair on fire and thinking you have to do everything, be everywhere for every single person. And this is why by the time Christmas comes, we are exhausted and can't really enjoy what it's really all about. So listen, you guys, I really want to challenge you because I know I've said it a couple times, you're breaking my heart. Those people who are the 98%, because I talk to a lot of people all the time that are already saying to me, I know I need to work on that. I know I want to make some changes next year, but I'm just going to have to push it off. I want to really challenge you guys to join me in the 2% club. Hey, Angel, thanks, Renoa. Ditch it, everything, delegate it, love it that you're loving my positivity, and love that you live here in my neighborhood. We'll have to talk more about that. So here's the 3 things that I want you to think about right now, you guys. 3 challenges and points of action, okay? How you end this year is how you start next year. Think about it. How you do anything, is how you do everything. If you're already pushing it off, I guarantee you, again, tough love right here, I guarantee you that you're not going to hit your goals next year, just like you didn't this year. You're repeating a habit and you need to break it. Live proactively and not reactively. You own your life, you guys. Don't let all of the commercialism of our world and our life own you. Second thing is you've got to prioritize. You've got to start saying, what are you going to say yes to and what are you going to say no to? I've already been invited to several things. Some of them are a definite yes, I wouldn't miss it. And there are some other things that, I've got question marks around that if it works into my schedule and I can make it, awesome. And if not, I'm not going to stress about it. The balance of how I feel and how I take care of myself is much, much more important. And the last thing I'm going to challenge you guys to do is invest time and money, if you need to, in setting aside some time to get your vision and your goals down on paper. As you guys know, I help people with this. It's my signature thing, and I've been saying this now for a couple weeks, that I have a couple of workshops on the calendar, both live and virtually, that I'm going to literally help people set aside that day to get their vision written, figure out where they need to get unstuck, and get a plan on paper. So if that's you, message me, private message me, and I'll let you know what that looks like, and I'll invite you into one of those. So just want to send this message out, you guys. Don't wake up today like everybody else did, still shopping Cyber Monday, hungover from Thanksgiving weekend, from too much activity, too much on their plate, worn out already, and woke up in the 98% club, running already into the holiday craziness. I want to challenge you guys to be in the 2% with me and show the world a different way to live. All right, you guys, thanks everybody for hopping on live. I appreciate it. If you're watching this in the replay, drop a 2 here so that I know that you watched the replay. I love it when everyone lets me know they were on. And any comments or feedback or tips that you want to add on how to stay balanced through the holidays and stay in the 2%, I'd love to hear it. All right, you guys, thanks everyone. Have a nice night.